Nigeria Super Eagles soon to arrive Abuja after gallant performance at AFCON 2023.
So we in these parts that have some of these sources of renewable energy, how well are we doing to harness them?
Take advantage of Electricity Act 2023. Legislators give charge on effective action to address challenges in power sector. Also tonight, the latest on seizure of 10 warehouses, of 10 warehouses in Kano for alleged foodstuff hoarding. We'll be joining correspondent Abdullahi Mustafa for a live update.
We'll be telling you latest on efforts being made by the Kano State Anti-Corruption Commission to curb incessant scarcity and price hike.
Thank you, Abdullahi. It's always a pleasure to have you join us on the network news on NTA. I'm Naja'atu Tijani, and joining us tonight are Diola Komiakere in Lagos, Bade Adele live from our studios with sports highlights, and Musa Abubakar with business news. Remember that this broadcast is always streamed live on our website, nta.ng/live, and you can catch the replay on our YouTube channel, and do follow us across all social media platforms as well. Now, barely 24 hours after narrowly missing out on landing a fourth Africa Cup of Nations title in Côte d'Ivoire, the Super Eagles of Nigeria are on their way back into the country. They are expected to touch down at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, and correspondent Ayodiji Makinde is standing by at the airport to give us an update. And we'll be joining him once we establish a signal. Meanwhile, for more live sports action, let's join Bade Adele. We'll be joining Bade Adele in the course of the bulletin. Now, effective legislation is needed for Nigeria to get it right to address challenges in the power sector before 2030, says the leadership of the National Assembly. This was at the first annual Legislative Summit on Renewable Energy, organized by the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies in collaboration with a solar energy company. Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports.
The value of electricity to economic growth and development of every nation is becoming more apparent by the day. Nigeria is not an exception, considering the efforts made by the successive administrations for more access to electricity, its affordability and sustainability. This meeting of key players is one of the ways to explore effective usage of renewable energy in Nigeria, backed the laws of the land.
The recent passage of the Electricity Act 2023 and the Constitution of Treasury Act 2023 have provided us with an unprecedented opportunity to harness the potentials of renewable energy and revolutionize the way we power this blessed nation.
The Electricity Act 2023 extended this movement to its call for a privatization of renewable energy and empowerment of state and local governments to set up their own legal framework and even invest directly in renewable energy.
And what we need is, for the legislature, we need for you to give us back what you think, how efficient it is. Do we need to tweak the law to make it a little better? So we in these parts that have some of these sources of renewable energy, how well are we doing to harness them?
At the end of the summit, key players believe that far-reaching recommendations will be brought forward to improve on the power generation and distribution, as well as provide sustainable approaches and targeted collaborations from domestic and international investors in renewable energy usage. In Abuja, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Now, from renewable energy, let's talk food security. And Deputy President of the Senate, Senator Barrow Jibrin, has hailed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for ordering the release of 102,000 tons of rice, maize, millet and other food items to address the high cost of food in the country. The Deputy President of the Senate had in a statement indicated the move would go a long way in cushioning the effect of the rising cost of commodities. Senator Jibrin also urged states and local governments to emulate the federal government by releasing grains to the needy, adding that in the coming days he would distribute rice to 200,000 households as part of his contribution to addressing the challenge. Meanwhile, the Kano State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission has sealed off 10 warehouses containing various foodstuff at the popular Dawano International Grains Market in Kano Metropolis. The chairman of the commission, Muhi Magaji Rimingadu, who led the raid, says the operation has become imperative to check the incessant increase of prices of essential commodities, which is compounding the hardship faced by Nigerians. Awal Salisu has the details.
2 days after a threat to clamp down on all dealers found to be hoarding essential commodities, the Kano State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission sealed several warehouses containing goods worth millions of naira in the commercial hub of northern Nigeria. Led by the chairman of the commission, Muhuyima Gajiri Mungado, the raid saw many warehouses located along the popular grain market in Dawano and others at Singa and Quarry markets in the metropolis sealed.
All we want to achieve is to force the goods back to the market, because we believe artificial inflation arises when people put stocks and engage in hoarding activities to create artificial scarcity. So when the demand is high and the supply is low, the ultimate goal is the price will go off.
During the unscheduled visit, the stores sealed off were stocked with essential commodities, including grains, millets, sugar and spaghetti, among others. Muhiyima Gaji maintained that the operation became necessary to check the incessant increase of price of essential commodities, which is compounding the hardship faced by Nigerians.
We are looking for a solution now. We are not looking for trouble. We are looking for a solution, and that is our ultimate goal.
While at Singa Market, Muhui discussed extensively with leadership of the market on the issues with a view to find a lasting solution. In Kano, Awal Salisu, NTA News.
And now we'll be joining correspondent Abdullahi Mustafa, who is live in Kano, for an update on the situation. Abdullahi. Let's talk about
Hello, Najatu. Thank you.
Yes, Abdullahi. Let's talk about the major warehouses raided and the items confiscated. Is it a known practice in Kano? What type of grains, along with their possible market value, were also in storage?
As you could have seen in that report, and explained by the chairman Muhima Gajiri Mangadu, that market Dawano is believed to be the largest market in West Africa, foodstuff market. And of course, he said at that time the monetary value of such commodities is it runs into hundreds of millions of naira, and most of such maize, millet, sorghum and other staple food items. And of course, the reason is that most of the price hike is being attributed to unwholesome activities of some traders, the major traders or dealers of such commodities in that market, and of course Singa market, which are the two major foodstuff markets in, of course, the entire nation. And it is believed that by taking such measure in the two major markets, the price increase that is being experienced daily or sometimes more than once in a day could be checked. So, but I think being an issue that is handled by the Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission, and it took similar efforts measure 2 years ago. With me is the chairman, a lawyer by profession, Muyi Magaji. He will tell us what 2 days now after this raid, what have you noticed any significant impact on this raid you've conducted?
It's not all about the raid per se. What we are after is to push the goods, that's the essential commodities, into the market, so that when there is a supply, when there's adequate supply in the market, then certainly the instant increase in price, as you rightly said, will not be witnessed. And this is what we exactly achieve. We did not started the activity 2 days ago, as many people perceived. It happens, this is public complaints and anti-corruption commission, and we have done it 2 years or 3 years back during COVID-19, and we have made significant achievement towards, curbing the instant hoarding of essential commodities, and people are happy. And when this scenario repeats itself, then we were under intense pressure from the members of the public that we should act, and that is what informed the decision for us to invite the traders. That's what we did at the first instance. We invite the traders, we discuss with them, and we let them know that we are going to act and we are going to go after the hoarders. And that's exactly what we did. And as I'm talking to you now, for the past 4 days, the instant price in the essential commodities in Kano, in both two markets, as you said, have stopped, and it is now started declining. And Kano is a PIDA. This is a commercial nerve center of the entire region. And what happens in Kano, it will affect virtually the entire region.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I've noticed some complaints, especially on social media, that the Commission is crucifying them for a fault not theirs. Is there any legal, do you have a court order before taking such action?
Before I come to the court order, we are not crucifying anybody. What we are doing is we are asking everybody to act within the bounds of the law. The law of the lands did not permit anybody to hoard essential commodities. As you rightly said, we saw essential commodities being hoarded was billions of naira, and which by our estimation and by the estimation of all analysts can affect the markets system in the state. So that is when we come in, and we are equipped with all necessary court orders and court warrants for us to come and inspect. And what we did was, we did not collect anything from anybody. We did not take the goods away. What we did was to make sure that we took over the property, and we let them.
Okay, we apologize due to the issue we have here. This is all we can bring to you. Thank you. And back to you, Najatu in Abuja.
Thank you, Abdullahi. That was our correspondent, Abdullahi Mustafa, speaking with the chairman, Muhi Magaji Rimingadu, on the raid of warehouses allegedly hoarding foodstuff, causing a hike in food prices. And still on food security, as part of efforts to address the incessant rise in the price of food and other essential commodities across the country, Governor Babagana Umar Zulum is to hold a meeting with traditional leaders, dealers in food items and relevant stakeholders on Wednesday to end the hardship being faced by the citizenry. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum stated this in Bama when he distributed food and non-food items as well as cash support to about 70,000 residents of Bama as part of ongoing palliative distribution to the vulnerable in society. Muhammad Goni reports.
Distribution of 5,000 naira and a fabric to each of the 45,000 women and a bag each of rice and maize to 25,000 male beneficiaries was made in the wake of the incessant rise in the prices of staple food and other essential commodities. The beneficiaries of the distribution could not hide their joy, saying the gesture will go a long way in providing succor to their families.
We must look at indiscriminate purchase of food items by vendors. We shall stop it. This is something that we must look into it. People are coming to buy the food items and then hoarding the food items. So this has to be stopped.
Governor Bagana Umar Zulum said the meeting with the relevant stakeholders that include traditional leaders, dealers and marketers has become necessary to address the incessant rise in prices of food and other essential commodities. He also assured IDPs at GSS Bama camp that efforts are in top gear to resettle communities such as Kumshe, Dara Jamal, Termoa, Mainti and Kajari, among others, to enable them return home to normal lives, stressing that the return is voluntary. The governor used the opportunity to announce that SACA will be extended to MMC and Jere local government as Ramadan is around the corner, urging residents of the two communities to bear with government. Professor Zulum also paid courtesy visit on the Shehu Obama Umar ibn Kari Ibrahim El-Kanemi to intimate him on his mission and commended the royal father for being with his people at all times. Shehu Umar ibn Kari Ibrahim El-Kanemi appreciated the governor for completing Bama Maiduguri roads and executing people-centered projects. From Bama headquarters of Bama local government, Mohamed Goni, NTA News.
This is the network news on NTA. More news in a moment. Stay tuned. Thanks for staying tuned. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu says she's committed to fostering an environment where knowledge is not just acquired, but put into productive use. Senator Tinubu said this while unveiling the School of Law building named after her at the Mariam Abacha American University, Kano. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo reports that the First Lady also visited the Emir of Kano, Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, at his palace.
Having served in Sabongari area of Kano State in 1982 as a youth corps member, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu is no stranger to Kano. It is, however, her first time of visiting since becoming Nigeria's First Lady, and these eminent Nigerians, including the Deputy Senate President Barau Jibrin, are here not just to welcome her to Kano, but also to witness a great moment of recognition. Standing squarely at the center, the School of Law at the Mariam Abacha American University, Kano, now Senator Oluremi Tinubu School of Law, graces the skyline of the campus, promising functional education in law.
With a name boldly inscribed on this building, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu now takes her place beside other giants such as Kwame Nkrumah, Nelson Mandela, Murtala Muhammad Mohammed, and Thomas Sankara, who have impacted the global space in the course of their lifetime.
For the founder and chairman of the governing board of the institution, Professor Abubakar Gwozo, naming the School of Law after the First Lady is consistent with the university's tradition of recognizing and promoting excellence. It was a moment of reckoning as dignitaries, including former First Lady Hajia Mariam Abacha and Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano State, took turn to applaud her passion and drive for education.
Renewed Hope Initiative, a pet program that significantly addresses the challenges faced by young Nigerians in accessing qualitative education by providing scholarships, educational materials, etc., etc.
I followed her to see what she was going to do so that I can take it and transform Benue State.
Delighted and humbled, the First Lady says education as a key to true freedom must be prioritized.
I've always believed education is the key to freedom. Freedom of the spirit, body, and soul. A person without formal education will always be in servitude.
And putting words into action, she announced a 50 million naira endowment fund for the best female law students in the school.
I want to tell you and assure you that whatever it takes, even if it is one day God gives us in that office, we will try to make sure that we do the best for this country.
At the palace of the Emir of Kano, Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, she repeated a plea for understanding from Nigerians, expressing the conviction that the country will take a turn for the better soon. The Emir, while applauding her interventions for the vulnerable in the country, urged her to sustain her efforts at improving girl child education in the country. From Kano, Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
Now let's talk the state of the nation. And the People's Democratic Party's Governors Forum is urging the federal government to embark on initiatives involving all sub-national governments to bring a lasting solution to the hardship being experienced by Nigerians. Timothy Yusuf reports on this and other resolutions reached by the governors at the end of their meeting in Abuja.
It was a closed-door meeting attended by 10 out of the 13 PDP governors. They resolved to continue to play their part in the effort to bring security and succor to the people. To this end, Chairman of the Forum and Bauchi State Governor, Senator Bala Mohammed, on behalf of his colleagues, reiterated the call for state police with appropriate safeguards to avoid abuse by any tier of government. The forum decried the falling value of the naira and requested the monetary and fiscal authorities to find appropriate solutions.
We have been partnering even as opposition to make sure that we don't bring any distraction. But certainly the monetary policies and the economic policies rest here. And you can see that we know the majority of Nigerians live in the states. And so we're doing so much across party lines on a bipartisan basis within the Nigerian Government Forum, within the National Economic Council, to make sure that we cushion the effect of this, some of these policies that have far-reaching consequences on our people.
The meeting further reviewed recent developments in the People's Democratic Party and committed to leading efforts to revamp and reposition the party to serve as an effective opposition to the ruling party in Nigeria, and passed a vote of confidence in the Iliad Amagum-led National Working Committee of the party, urging the NWC to put in motion the machinery for convening meetings of the appropriate organs of the party, from caucus to National Executive Committee, as soon as possible. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the chairman, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Brigadier General Buba Marwa, has urged spouses of state governors to champion the cause against illicit drug abuse in their various states as the agency works towards realizing a Nigeria with zero tolerance for drug abuse. This was during the drug prevention, treatment and care training held for spouses of governors in Abuja. The report.
A 2018 National Drug Use Survey shows that 14.3 million Nigerians aged 15 to 64 abuse psychoactive substances other than alcohol and tobacco. It is a situation the NDLEA blames for increasing violent crimes and insecurity in the country. Recognizing the importance of spouses of state governors in fighting this public health concern, the NDLEA is intensifying advocacy to promote prevention and care actions at the state level.
Hence, I am compelled to renew the call to governor spouses to please mobilize and engage stakeholders in your states to support prevention actions.
First Lady of Nigeria, who was represented by wife of the Inspector General of Police, urges the wives of governors to take action beyond the training.
I implore the First Ladies of the various states to take this very important information gathered here today to their respective states for further action.
Today's event also stands to improve our understanding of the National Drug Control Master Plan and guide our response at the state drug control committees, while improving the scope of our interventions on drug prevention, treatment, and care.
The drug agency is also worried about the number of cannabis plantations in Nigeria and is considering engaging the farmers on alternative cropping to keep them gainfully occupied. In Abuja, Ekene Ndulue, NTA News.
Oops, it seemed they were eager to see me before Ekene's reports concluded. Now let's join Adiola in Lagos for more reports. Adiola.
Really funny. Now, as the world has gone digital, Nigerian youths have been given an opportunity to key into the ongoing ALX 6 weeks online free training on artificial intelligence and other pay-for-available tech training offered by the Sun Technology Company in order to bridge the gap in the digital world. Country General Manager Ruby Igwe gave the charge at a news conference in Lagos. Diana Jale has the details.
ALS Foundation, a leading tech service provider company with its headquarters in the United States and branches across 8 African countries, Nigeria inclusive, is a training arm of Sand Technologies. The company is passionate about harnessing young talents across the African continent. Country General Manager Ruby Igwe said the company's mission is to ensure that millions of young people between ages 18 to 34 years are equipped with digital knowledge while providing opportunities for expression and employment.
What we find is that there will be, in 2050, 40% of the global population will be African. And if there are young people who can't find jobs, what do we do then? So that is why we exist, to find these job opportunities.
This tech training is in partnership with the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, MasterCard Foundation.
So through our partnership with ALX Africa, we aim to strengthen our commitment to supporting tech innovation and entrepreneurship in Lagos State.
But most fundamentally for us as lawyers, we find that everything that we do has become invaded by tech. And we need to understand tech in order to do our works efficiently and effectively. We also need to understand tech in order to support the booming community of tech entrepreneurs across the world.
We actually also provide a number of soft skills, and that is what stands us apart from every other person. It's not just about the certificate, it's about you even being employable.
Cloud computing, software engineering, data analysis, AI Career Essential are some of the available programs at the free 6 weeks online ALS training. For more accessibility, the company has acquired a tech hub, currently occupying about 1,400 square meters infrastructure within the Industrial Training Fund ITF building in Lagos, where students can also physically converge with access to constant electricity and internet services for smooth operations. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
And talking business now, Nigeria's equities market recorded a consistent bullish push, rising above the 90,000 points mark as the market rose by 20.45% in the third week of January. Amaka Owo reports.
An assessment of the equities market shows that the market gained for 13 straight days in the month of January on the review before recording any losses. These developments, stakeholders say, made the market surpass those of Argentina, which it was trailing.
Nigerian capital market is actually, making a positive traction. You can see that the market is, really breaking grounds. It's a very good market where investors can invest their money and really break ground.
The market has been able to have a year-to-date return of about 40%, which is about 90% of what it did last year. The all share index was able to cross the 100,000 points. This is the first of its kind. We've never really had this. Even before the market meltdown, the equities market, the all share index never got to 100,000 points. So we can say we're really maintaining a winning stream. The market is actually upbeat, is going up, and we're pleased, we're glad that it's an opportunity for every other person out there to play within this space.
Especially with the reforms introduced by the market, stimulated by the actions of Mr. President, and with the alliance and support with the other international markets, I think we are good to go.
The positive performance of the markets, which stakeholders also say have attracted and strengthened the investors' confidence, although since then the market has recorded some losses, not too significant to surpass the gains, new all-time high recorded in the month of January. In Lagos, Amaka Owo, NTA News.
And those are the stories from.
Now back to the much anticipated arrival of the Nigerian Super Eagles, who narrowly missed out on landing the title from Côte d'Ivoire at the just concluded AFCON 2023. And Ayodeji Makinde is standing by to give us live updates. Ayodeji.
Thanks, Naja. It's been about 7 hours that we've been waiting at the airport here at the arrival wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. One or two passengers have been coming from different flights, and the wait is so much to receive the Super Eagles after they finished second in the championship. It's been nothing too affirmative over the last 7 hours, but in the last few minutes we were able to establish contact with the team in Abuja. That's talking about the team coordinator of the Super Eagles, Patrick Pascal, who confirmed to the NTA that they are still in Abuja and they expect to board a flight as soon as possible to Abuja tonight. We just hope that the juice will be worth the squeeze over the next few minutes.
As to why their flight has been delayed, because we understand they were supposed to arrive earlier. What's keeping them in Abidjan? Any idea?
Oh, yes. Nothing affirmative was given to us by some of the protocol officials of the Nigeria Football Federation that we met here. But from those who were able to speak to in Abidjan, it was all down to aviation logistics and challenges, which really affected the initial plan of having them in Abuja before 6 p.m. But based on what we're able to also gather, their imminent arrival in Nigeria today is certain. And of course, we shall be keeping our fingers crossed at the arrival wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport for the arrival of the Super Eagles of Nigeria.
Be looking forward to all that action, I bet, and I can't wait to hear the mood and all that. So we'll be waiting for those live updates, Ayo Deji. Thank you very much. And now let's join Musa Abubakar on our business desk for business news. Musa.
Thank you, Najal. Let's begin with energy. Oil and gas analysts say the federal government must continue to put in place deliberate policies that will provide conducive environment for the oil and gas industry players to thrive. While applauding the move to revive the Port Harcourt refinery, Balazaka said rehabilitating the country's refineries and ensuring gas utilization is important in turning the fortunes of the oil and gas sector.
Let's go back to internal domestication, because with the business climate hostilities today, multinationals are not coming in to invest. The climate is harsh for them. But for us internally, let's internally revive our refineries. Because if we revive our refineries, starting from the first one in Port Harcourt, let's start getting the distillates internally. That will wage us against forex of importation. That is what we need to do.
Let's take a quick look at the capital market. The equities market began the first weekday of trade in positive territory as investors gained 100.65 billion naira. The all-share index climbed 0.18% at 102,042.32 points as market capitalization advanced to 55.8 trillion naira. 242.4 million shares worth 5.1 billion naira exchanged hands in 8,715 deals. The financial services industry led the top trades chart with Access Holding PLC, Veristas Capital Assurance PLC, followed by Guarantee Trust Holding Company PLC. That's a quick look at business news. The news continues with the Da'atu afternoon, the break.
The Northeast Development Commission is training 415 persons in Adamawa State in environmentally sound practices. The 5-day intensive training workshop is in collaboration with Adamawa State government and is aimed at ensuring an environmentally sound society. Yusuf Jika reports.
Environmental sustainability is said to be key in making life meaningful to the people and will set a pace for a brighter future. To this end, the Northeast Development Commission, in collaboration with the Adamawa State government, rolls out 6 different environmental issues to be addressed, which include climate change adaptation awareness, training of women on the use of energy-efficient stuff, and training of youth on waste collection, as well as scavenging. Others include fabrication of energy-efficient stuff, watershed management for professionals, and renewable energy training for youth employment programs. Head of NEDC Ola Office, Fatima Bakari, said the aim is to protect the environment in the Northeast region through capacity building of the participants to implement effective climate change solutions.
To educate the public on the best practices of mitigation and adaptation strategies.
Representative of the Adamawa State Government on the event, Hosea Jime, said the workshop is timely as it will go a long way to complementing some of the government's plan in addressing environmental degradation and its impact.
All we need is the cooperation of the general public so that we engage in positive practices, most especially those that will not affect our environment.
Some of the participants at the event expressed optimism to make use of the knowledge learned and step it down appropriately. In Yola, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
The federal government has sympathized with persons with disabilities in Karamajigi in the Federal Capital Territory following a sad incident which occurred in their camp. Ruth Aguele reports that the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Humanitarian and Poverty Alleviation, Delu Bulus Yakubu, paid a visit to the community on behalf of the federal government.
A bleak day for persons with disabilities. Karon Majigi camp in the Federal Capital Territory, where some of their makeshift houses gutted by fire. Ibrahim Taliba, who is a resident in the camp, says he escaped being a victim by the whiskers.
One woman, she cooked something there, she dropped it, she went out before you come back, so we hear shout everywhere, fire is catching everywhere. Like, if you see campfire, we happen at this area, but now only go, we thank Almighty God.
An incident that attracted the sympathy of the federal government. And here, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Delu Bulus Yakubu, has come to sympathize with the people with a stop at the Emir of the Sebo Palace. The Emir expressed appreciation to the federal government for remembering them at this critical moment in their despair. To ameliorate their suffering, a token of cash gifts was presented.
Calling for Mr. President has why he recently launched a federal housing scheme so that he can consider a quota in line with the Disability Act.
I want to use this opportunity to plead with Nigerians to be patient with the current situation in our country. The government is making a serious effort. I wish to sympathize with the victim and the entire member of this community.
With this visit, residents of the camp are hopeful for a better future, irrespective of their present state. In Abuja, Ruth Aguele, NTA News.
Now let's join Bade Adelie live for sports action. Bade.
Many thanks, Najato. Let's talk sports now, as football enthusiasts in the country continue to react to Nigeria's 2-1 loss to host Cote d'Ivoire in the final of AFCON 2023. Correspondent Francisca Bile, who was in town to sample opinions, says the reactions came with mixed feelings.
Have reacted to the Super Eagles' inability to clinch the trophy during the Africa Cup of Nations final match between Nigeria and host nation Cote d'Ivoire. The Elephant of Cote d'Ivoire on Sunday night came from a goal down to defeat Nigeria Super Eagles 2-1 in the 34th Africa Cup of Nations. Cote d'Ivoire has now claimed their third AFCON title, tying with Nigeria, while the Eagles have lost 5 of their 8 appearances in the AFCON final, winning 3. Despite being on the back foot for the most part of the first half, it was the Eagles who took the lead on the 38th minute through Captain William Trust Ekong.
What made our boys to get it wrong, I think, because they won the first leg, played better, coming stronger, and having scored that first match gave them a wrong impression. That first goal gave them a wrong impression of how the match would be. And it was a very slight mistake from the defenders. They clogged and covered the goalkeeper. If you see, that goalkeeper would have clearly caught that ball.
Our coach have to sit down and have to, reason. He's a professional coach. You don't need somebody, to push you to the wall before you react. He allowed people to overtake his job. That was why that thing happened.
Football, there must always be a winner, and that was what we saw yesterday. But unfortunately, we wouldn't have had that experience if things had gone right in this country. I want to see a Nigeria where things are done correctly, The selection of people to form a team should be allowed to be free.
Thanks, Francisca. Now, Super Eagles captain Ahmed Musa has called on Nigerians to stop what he terms cyberbullying of some of the players, especially midfielder Alex Iwobi. Musa, who posted on his social media wall Monday evening, says targeting a single player for the team's shortcomings is unfair and unjust. The former CSKA Moscow forward believes the action is also not a good example of the unity football brings to Nigerians. Fulham midfielder Alex Iwobi was trolled online ceaselessly on Monday, with some internet users flooding his social media pages to post hurtful words, which have forced him to delete most of his pictures and go offline. Well, that's sports for now. It's back to Nigeria.
Thank you for those updates, Bade Adele. The banking and financial industry in Nigeria has described the death of the former chief executive officer of a leading bank in the country as an irreplaceable loss to the sector, as the deceased brought about major transformations in banking operations while making an impact on humanity in diverse ways. Amaka Owo reports that the former Director General of NTA, Shingo Wigwe, is the father of the deceased.
However, with confirmation by the National Transport Safety Board of Industry has been thrown.
Issues there with that report. We do apologize and we do pray for the repose of the souls of the departed. Next is weather.
Hello. As moist maritime winds from the Atlantic Ocean pushes further northwards into the country, we expect better cloud buildup over the southern region of the country. So we anticipate patches of clouds in a hazy atmosphere to the south, with prospects of afternoon and evening thunderstorms to parts of Lagos, Ogun, Delta, and Bayelsa states. The north central and the north are expected to have lots of sunshine in a hazy atmosphere. That's all for the forecast. Please stand by for the air quality and temperature forecast across some selected cities. I am Theodora Itu. Thank you for watching.
It's the network news on NTA. Thanks for staying with us.